John Cowan joining us. John, kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
It's already got stressful for me. I've just been over to a shopping mall and it's already gone crazy over there. But one of my favorite things to do before Christmas is to find a good parking space and just sit there with my reversing lights on.
wow.
And
You're the most popular guy in the mall, right? As people gather round you like wasps on a jam sandwich.
that's right. Are you going
Yeah.
to pull out? Are you going to pull out? Hey, I've had quite a good 2024, but I know that that's not the case for everyone. I know some people have had a rubbish year.
Yeah.
And they're coming up to Christmas and they've just depleted in their reserves, their emotional reserves. Sometimes their finances
Yeah.
are knocked to bits as well. So I've just got a few tips for people that have had a rotten year. Perhaps you've had a relationship that's come apart or lost someone you loved or had a health dip. And so just some tips for Christmas. And the first one is Christmas is a great time to be kind and loving to people. And so could you just put yourself at the top of that list? Be kind to yourself this Christmas. This is not the year to organize a Christmas dinner for 50 people. Okay, it's good to, after you've had a dip, in your life, to re-engage with people, but
Yep.
do it gently. And, Christmas can be cathartic and healing, but maybe it won't be if you work yourself to the bone. So,
Goodwill towards everyone, including yourself. Top of the list, you reckon?
yeah, yeah. Congratulate yourself on your, what do you call it, your resilience and your ability to bounce people gently.
Yeah.
And so learn to say things like, hey, thanks, but I don't think I'm up to it this year. Or, and people do get over things at different rates. Some people bounce back from a loss or reversal of fortunes very quickly.
Yep.
But if you don't, that's okay. But factor that in to your kids. Your kids and other family members might seem ready to join in with things far sooner, and you might be feeling like a bit of a killjoy because you're wanting to hold back. But hey, give yourself some slack. Forgive yourself for not wanting to get involved in things too much. And if you just want a quiet Christmas, pretty much to yourself, you're allowed to have that.
Yep.
Don't feel like you have to wind yourself up to levels of enthusiasm and things that just aren't you.
Yeah.
Hey, my second tip is expect this to be rough. Expect to be triggered. Expect to be sitting there at Christmas noticing who's not around the table,
Yeah.
or how much better everyone else seems to be doing than you. And so just realize that Christmas ambushes people. Be ready for that.
Yeah.
And, when those feelings come, the adults in your world will probably understand. And say to them, look, I'm expecting this to be a great Christmas, but if I have to duck outside for a quick howl, you'll understand, won't you?
Yeah.
And I think they will. I think they will. The ones that love you will. Just one more tip about Christmas, or maybe a couple more.
Yep.
The ceremonies help.
Okay.
I don't know why, but having a little formality around something at Christmas time can help. I know that we did this a few years ago when we had a stillbirth in our family, and we got together as a family and we had prayers and we just thought about things because we knew that the ones impacted most would be feeling terrible. We were all feeling terrible.
Yeah.
And a little ceremony at Christmas really helped. And so you might want to do something like visit a graveside, or light a candle in memory of someone, or remember them with a toast or a poem or a prayer. Just say, hey, we're all missing X at this,
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
time. And I've just got a little poem I'd like to say in honor of them. And then I'm going to propose a toast.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it'll help everyone. It'll help you. And if you can't trust your own voice to do it, properly and everything like that, because sometimes you think this is going to be a good idea and then you find your vocal cords turn to jelly when you try and do it. Ask a friend or a relative to do it and to say a few words, and odds on they'd be honored.
Yeah.
They really would be. So think about that, this coming up to Christmas. Is this a time to perhaps honor that person that's not there with a little memory and a little ceremony? And it really, really does help. Another tip, kids can handle your honesty if they see your courage.
Yep.
You can credit your kids with knowing that this is going to be a rough Christmas. It's going to be different. It's going to be tough. And so talk to them about it before Christmas Day. And you can say, hey, you might see me get a bit upset, but I'm pushing on and we're going to cope.
Yep.
And you don't have to pretend you're not upset. That
Yep.
gives you permission, to be the big person in their world, showing them that you can have emotions and still get through. So model by all means the fact that you're upset, but also model courage and resilience in a mature way. And that can be that could be one of the most valuable gifts you give your kids, to see it like that. And if you start to feel terrible, you can always tell them and get a hug.
Yeah.
And, you can tell them, hey, I'm going to get through. I know you're going to get through. And finally, don't be offended if your kids act like kids. By definition, kids are immature. So don't expect them to handle big life events like bereavements and family breakups with adult-style immaturity. Hey, if they get excited about presents and parties, then just be happy for them.
Yeah.
And if they get moody and grumpy and selfish, then realize that you could be witnessing childlike grief. They do feel strong emotions, but the two things to realize about strong emotions in kids is that they'd have a not a very effective emotional vocabulary. And sometimes their grief looks like anger or grumpiness, and they also grieve in bursts. Sometimes they seem flippant and just shallow how quickly they get over things. And then a week or two down the track, they're kicking over chairs again and picking fights with their brother. And that could all be grief. And so let your kids be kids. This will be a tough Christmas for them too. And so cut them a lot of slack. Cut yourself some slack, cut them some slack. I hope you don't need this advice, because I hope you've had a fantastic year. But if it's been rough, then maybe those tips will help you get through.
John, thank you so much for this, because I know that there will be people listening to this who have got that, their Christmas feels like a broken piece of crockery, and those 5 tips helping to put together the best possible Christmas under the circumstances. Thank you so much for what you do. Thanks for joining us once again. Merry Christmas.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.